Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Sophiology, where I have a podcast and I just share some of my thoughts and ideas. If you don't already know, my name is sophiacianciulli and I am your host. And I am first of all, I just want to show you guys, I am in LA right now. Look at my view. I guess maybe I should turn it like that. I don't know how well you can see. But I am in LA at the moment and I'm heading to Aspen in a couple hours, which I am so excited about because I've never been there. And hopefully I'll have some time to go skiing and take some cool little pictures. But I am feeling so good. And I feel like I've really kind of passed a threshold in the last week. And also just like feeling very inspired because I'm so proud of myself for how much I've been pouring into my creative energy and into, just loving myself and being gentle with myself in the sense of really finding that balance between like pleasure and self-love and joy, and just there's so much grace in my life that I've kind of been developing for myself. And it's kind of like when you sow seeds for a long time, good seeds, and sometimes you don't realize that you're planting seeds, and then suddenly it's like the fruits appear and you're like, oh my gosh, like I have done so much amazing stuff for myself. I have filled my mind with so much good stuff. Like every book you read, podcast you listen to, little thing that you create, little video you create, podcast you create, kind deed that you do for someone, I feel like it all comes back to you. Those sovereign decisions of choosing yourself and choosing your health and choosing to let go of certain relationships, choosing to make better decisions for your future. Like, I feel like all of that really blossoms in time, and sometimes you're making these decisions and you don't really see that you're planting seeds for a level up, and then suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, look at where I am. So I just am feeling inspired today to make a video because I ended up having a couple extra minutes. So I don't want to make it too long, but I want to kind of share my table. I kind of want to share, I wrote a little list of some of the things that have really helped propel me. Actually, I just thought of something that I want to add to it, but some things that have really propelled me into leveling up my life. Like I've shared my story before, but my life has changed, and I've gone through many phases of this where I have come back from something that's like a perceived loss, but I feel like I've made some genuine lasting changes in the last year just from my perspective on life, my reliance on myself, my love for myself, my finance life, my career life, like the things that I am doing right now, the life that I live. Like, I'm a flight attendant and I work on private jets and I get paid to see the world and I get paid to go really cool places and I never know where I'm gonna go. And, I get an income that's more than I made before previously. And I just remember being in this space and time where I like had no idea what my future was going to entail. And I just trusted God, which really is my first, I don't think I wrote it and I meant to, because I'm going to start there. But, yes. So I think that I really just trusted God, and he carried me such a long way, like so much. Like I didn't have a home. I didn't have my own space for years. I didn't even have an apartment for years. I was struggling financially so much. Like the most I had made in a month, I want to say was like $1,500, like, which honestly to some people, like at some point in my life that was good, but it was not livable. And now I just feel like I've quantum leaped my standards. I've quantum leaped where I see myself going. And right now, though I'm grateful for it, I'm just like, this is an amazing leap pad for the future and where I'm going to go next and what I'm going to experience next financially and in my relationships and in my relationship with myself and what I believe is possible and in the things I'm going to create and bring into this world. So I just want to share some of that energy with you and some of the things I feel like have really birthed it. So I'm going to keep this, but I'm going to just talk off the noggin because I think it'll just be a little bit more natural. But the first thing I want to say is prioritizing God as the center of my life has been the main thing that has given me stability and structure, because I have a God that loves me, and and again, I always say this, it does not matter. God is in everything. And on some people say omnipotent. I like omnipotent, but he's in everything. And there's such a reverence and understanding, because you know that any decision you make, any small encounter that you have, it's just it's feedback. You know what I mean? Like, it's just feedback, and there's something to be gained from all of it, even if sometimes you don't have that clarity. But when you trust God and you go to God, I think that it gives you such a stable structure, a stable friend, a stable like, I wanted to say guider. That's not a word. I'm trying to think of what he says. Whatever. But it gives you a stable place to build upon. And, you know, you kind of become more connected to your intuition, and more connected to just what you should and should not be doing. It becomes very clear to you. So I just wanted to share that part of like my level up. I really think is the very, very first part of that is centering God, whatever that may be, or your spirituality and your self-care, which I could really bring all of this into it. It all kind of falls into self-care, but like, I think just having a strong root in something spiritual that grounds you and connects you to, you know, the ether, however you say it. But it really allows you to be connected to that sixth sense, you know what I mean? Like that divine supernatural knowledge that we can't get on our own. We can, because we're connected to it, but you have to be connected and in tune to it. So by prayer, by meditation, by breath work, that's something I also want to just make its own segment, because breath work has also changed my life tremendously, because I can feel the energy like that's in my body that had been waiting to be released and restored. That energy that gets transmuted into addictions, or into, I think I've brought this up before, but like into addictions, into like sexual impulses with another person, not just like those impulses that you get that are natural, but like wanting to take it out on another person, watching, you know, porn, you know, doing things that are really detrimental for your health when it's just misplaced creative energy. I feel like breath work is such a good way to begin moving that, because you don't realize breath is like the greatest fruit of life. We take it for granted, and we don't even know how to use it. And so I had an experience when I went to rehab where I did a breathwork session for like an hour and a half, and it changed my life. When I sat there with the music and having someone there to console me, which is really beautiful because that's somatic healing, and just having someone with you there to like support you through the motion of these energies, you don't realize what's stored within you. And that's why like stretching is great, because our emotions aren't just mental, they're physical, and they're within us, and we're storing them. So that really helped me to start to release. And I had like an hour and a half session, and I just remember all of this stuff coming up that I had no idea was buried within me, all of this hurt and pain, like father wound, relationship wounds. Like I had it come up, and I gave myself so much love. And it was just that recognition of like, oh my God, I didn't deserve that. And not in like a victim way, but it was like I could really console myself and love myself, and then also be seen by the person facilitating it. So, and then on my own at home, I started doing breath work just like before bed, or like in the middle of the day when I was kind of feeling off, or before meditating, because then the words penetrate much deeper because I'm in like the state. Or if I'm feeling particularly pent up, they have like hour and a half long ones. I love Breathe with Sandy. He's great. But like hour and a half long, like breathing exercises that just take you to another place, because you don't realize just focusing on your breathing, and you feel amazing after, like your body tingles. And for the last, I want to say 3 months maybe, since I've moved for the most part, every morning I wake up and I just go outside in my backyard, and I just like see the sunrise and look at the trees, which is such a blessing in of itself. And I just sit there and I take the time, like 10-15 minutes, just to breathe. And man, and especially the breath holds, like just sitting there and holding your breath, it's just like I take that time to just think about and visualize, like, what do I want for myself? Like, what do I want in my life? What is it that I'm trying to create? What am I calling in financially, creatively, relationally? Like, even just the type of day I want to have, or like, a food idea or a song idea, like whatever, or even if I'm just thinking about stuff, but I'm really using that focused energy to kind of clear it out and give it space to breathe, literally. So I think that breath work, sorry, my bangs have been kind of a pain. I didn't bring my heat tools, so we're just working with what we got. So I really encourage you to try breath work, meditation as well. I've been a meditator for 4 or 5 years every morning, have barely missed a day. Changes my life, keeps me really grounded, and just keeps positive words going in. Speaking of positive words, that brings me to my next thing that has leveled me up, which is subliminals and affirmations. And you can do this in a lot of ways. Like, if you're somebody that's very like scripture oriented, or like, you can take words from the Bible and record yourself saying scripture that really speaks to you. Like a minister that I know, she is I don't really want to out what she's creating, but she's doing some amazing music with scripture. And even when I listen to it's very hard for me with secular music, because I really like the hood stuff. Like, it's just always been who I am, and I like music. I like all different kinds of music. I'm a musician, so it's hard for me to really close myself off. And I think that you're not meant to close yourself off from everything forever. Like, I think that you kind of start to grow into a place where you just know what you like. But I think on the daily, we kind of shift and change and transform. But music really is programming your mind. So I'm going to talk subliminal affirmations, but with music as well. Like, I notice that when I'm listening to like Christian music, for instance, like the words really, like, on my road trip back from Nashville, I only listened to like Madison Ryan Ward, and who else? Like, just only Christian music. And the words were replaying in my mind, and like, just, we were creating music that day in the workshop I did, and like all of the positive words all the women were sharing, like, it permeated my mind. And I found myself saying such powerful stuff over myself, like speaking the Holy Spirit into myself, and all of these powerful words that I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, we don't realize that what we listen to, and then it is so harmful, because then I'll listen to other stuff. And again, like, it is hard for me sometimes, because sometimes I just want to, when I'm in the gym, it makes me feel tough and strong. And maybe that's an excuse, but it is something that I am, I guess, working on, but in its own timing. But that's going to get into something else I have. So, I think that subliminals and affirmations and just speaking positive words into yourself is so powerful. So like, before I go to bed, I play, like, I'll do my breath work, I meditate, and then I really like High Frequency Guru. She has great ones, but I listen to subliminals before I go to bed, or just positive affirmations on something I want to work on, and I just play it at night. And you wake up and it really, like, you're just thinking good thoughts, because you're not letting your subconscious just rock and roll at the nighttime and just ruminate on all the things that have happened, or you start thinking about all this stuff when you go to bed. But it's like, if I'm going to bed and I'm just hearing these positive words, suddenly that's what I'm falling asleep thinking about, and then I'm waking up thinking that and feeling that way, so I can nip a negative thought in the bud so quickly. And everything in our life stems from a thought. So it's important that you're cultivating a headspace where, of course, we let ourselves feel certain things that need to be felt, because we're human beings, we're not robots. But as you gain a greater understanding of the power of your mind and the power of your thoughts, and you really simplify it, and you recognize, like, oh my gosh, like, my thoughts are literally, they're seeds. Like, there's 1,000,001 people that are going to tell you that. Jesus is going to tell you that. Neville Goddard is going to tell you that. Dr. Joe Dispenza is going to tell you that. Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. What else have I read? The Tongue of Creative Force, Charles Capp. Like, I can give you an endless list of books and resources that I have consumed that just affirm the same thing. Like, your thoughts are the start of anything that you're going to experience. And Course in Miracles, like, so I think the one thing that nature has given us, which Napoleon Hill says in his book, that the one force of nature that we have control over is thought. And you may not think that you have control over your thought, because there are so many things dropped around us, But you get to choose in the morning when you wake up what you consume, what you listen to throughout your day, what you consume, what you listen to. Even if people are telling you things or you're seeing things that are unfavorable or that you don't like, you still have the ability to go within and shift those things by listening to something positive or talking to yourself in a different way or expressing that to somebody else and having them help you kind of like build yourself back up, just getting it out of your system. So I think that is really, really powerful, and that has changed my life. And something I did for myself recently, which I had been wanting to do, I had started doing it like 2 years ago. Like, I have some episodes under my podcast on Spotify that I did of affirmation tapes that I made, but I started making them really personal to me. So all the things, because in the mornings I like to go and just write affirmations to myself, like stuff I want to see happen that day or in my life. And I always kind of see it reflected back to me, if not that day, then that week or that month or, sometime down the future. I'm like, that's so crazy. And you just start to recognize how important the seeds that you sow are. And so I went on a really good flow the other day of like 6 pages of affirmations. And I was like, I need to record this for myself. And I recorded it, and then I went in GarageBand, and then I put, I downloaded some really nice, high frequency music off of YouTube, and then I stacked them together and put them on a loop, and I fell asleep to that. I was floating when I woke up. I was floating. I was emanating great energy. Great things were happening. It was beautiful. And especially because it's in your own voice. So it's not because sometimes I listen to stuff and I don't if I like someone's voice, I will listen to the same thing over and over again. But if I don't like it, I can't listen to it. So I like it in my own voice because it's me saying it to myself, and it's really powerful. And it was the way I tingled, I was I never felt that way with anything else. So I knew it was really powerful. So I encourage you, it's very easy. Go on voice notes, record some stuff that you want to see happen or you want to start thinking. And you don't even have to play music behind it. That's just an extra step. And you can go on a YouTube converter online and convert that into an MP3 and then just put it in GarageBand, loop them together. It's very easy, and just listen to it. And it's so amazing. And I feel like that has been one of the greatest impacts on my life in the last year is affirmations and subliminals. Also, they have good ones with music too. So if there's music I want to listen to, sometimes it's I want to listen to music, but I have the subliminal affirmations going on behind it. I'm not even conscious of it, but I have good words going into my subconscious. You just have to be conscientious of who you are listening to. But it's also backed with your faith, right? Because these things, you have to have faith that they'll have a positive impact on you. And I think the more faith that I have in it, the better it works for me and the better results that I see in my life. And I really do believe that they're powerful and do amazing stuff. And what else did I write? I'm on 17. I don't want to go too long because I have to get ready for work. But, oh yes. So balance. I'll leave you on balance because there's so many other things I wanted to say, like investing in a safe space, celibacy. Actually, celibacy is really, okay. Let me really quick hit it because I already have a video about it, but I can think a safe space that can go into a safe space. So being your own safe space is really important because all of these little habits make it so that you feel really safe with yourself. If I know that I can trust myself to go to the gym, if I know that I can trust myself to meditate and take care of myself mentally, if I can trust myself to pray and to read a book instead of consuming something that's maybe not great for me, if I can trust myself to walk away from people that aren't good for me, not saying they're bad people, but that they're not good for me, whether it's friendships or relationships or family members, if I can trust myself to steer away from toxicity, if I can trust myself to stay away from substances or at least be moderate about my use with them, depending on what that is, if I could trust myself to put myself in good environments, if I could trust myself to take myself out on a really nice day and treat myself well and invest in myself and indulge, if I can trust myself enough, then I am my own safe space. And that's really important because then I'm not looking for a safe space in men, in relationships, in friendships. I mean, they're important. You need that. But the core of it has to be I'm safe in myself. I feel good in myself. I feel rooted in myself. I'm proud of the things I'm doing. I'm building. As a woman, I don't even want to use the word building, but I'm creating a beautiful life for myself. And anyone who enters that is entering my safe space. And if I feel safe with myself and the stuff I've created, I'm not going to so easily be flippant about what I let happen or what I let into my experience, because I know how much it will affect me and take me off kilter. So being my safe space, allowing God to also be my safe space, like those two things, it's really miraculous what can happen. And so also I want to say, like, my home is my safe space. I didn't have a safe space in my relationship. I didn't have a safe space in certain friendships. I did not have people pouring into me. I was not living in a place where I felt inspired or where I felt safe or where I had all my stuff in one place. Even like, I was scattered everywhere. My energy was in fractals thrown to the wind, and you don't realize it until you get back into having your own space, how important it is. And I know that it's really hard these days financially, but like, I really encourage you, like, if you have to get a roommate, I don't care if you need 2-3 roommates, but like, vet them, go on Facebook. You could meet some of the greatest friends of your life, because I've made some amazing friends through being roommates, and it's such a beautiful, fun experience if you guys love each other. And I'm 26, so I'm just not doing that anymore. I want my own space. I've done it. I've suffered enough with living in toxic home environments and, just not living in places that I feel like was inspiring for me. So me now having my own home, which is not something I ever could have seen for myself, and having my own home, I'm like, I have such a safe space. I can wake up every day and I can cook when I want, and, wake up and enjoy nature in my backyard. And I can, create in my space and sing as loud as I want and play dress up and, do all of these things around the house that I could dance around the house, and I can just be free in my energy there. Like, it has been another level to feeling safe and into creating and leveling up. So if you can do that, I really encourage you to find a way to find a safe space for yourself, because I know it's not always easy, but again, it's the words that you speak to yourself and your willingness and your drive and your ambition to make something happen. Because I realized how I was kind of defeated in the past, and I had multiple opportunities. I had the money, and even if it was like just enough, that was God giving me the resource, and I didn't use it. Because it's also realizing sometimes we're waiting for the perfect time to do stuff, which I've talked about this in the last almost every video. We're waiting for like the perfect time. However, like, sometimes you don't realize there's a door open, and if you don't act now, then even if it's just enough, even if you don't feel like, oh, I don't have a savings or this isn't perfect, maybe that's not the most responsible, advice some people would say, but for me, I'm like, take the opportunity, take the risk, because you have no idea how long an opportunity is there. And if you have faith in God, He'll carry you through, and you'll feel it in your intuition if something's right for you. And for me, it just felt right, even though it was a little scary for me to move to a state where I didn't know anybody and I didn't have any like plan really. Like, luckily with my career, I can go a lot of places, but it was one of those things where I was like, I don't have a support system here. I don't know what I'm going to do. It was very bold and it was very last minute. And I think I signed my lease like a week before I went. But I'm grateful I did it, because I recognize that is what God wanted for me. And now I have a safe space to create, and I can build a greater safe space in myself. And I guess the last thing I'll say to this is, and I wanted to say celibacy as well, because I just want to add also, as a woman, I've already made a video about this, but I think I could make a lot about this, is when you are sleeping with somebody, like, they're permeating your energy in a way that you have no idea. And I see how many women are suffering, or like they get ugly. Like, you'll be in a relationship and you're getting ugly and you're getting lazy and you're tired all the time and you have bags and you're not happy. You don't have energy after you see him or after you sleep with him. He's not taking care of you or offering you a safe space, or he's just like, we stay in these relationships and we're sleeping with somebody who won't even give us a title, like the whole situationship culture. And again, I was engaged in that, and I give myself grace because I didn't know any better, and I was very wounded when I got into I wasn't getting what I wanted in a relationship. in a lot of areas, and I felt so unsafe, and I neglected to listen to my body. I felt so anxious, and I would leave after sleeping with this person, and though it was like kind of fulfilling and I got to express that energy, I was drained and depleted, and a lot of areas in my life suffered, and I found myself then like kind of losing my mind. And that's normal. That's not your fault. Like, sex has a crazy effect on your psyche. And so if us as women don't know our power and our worth and our value, then when we go out and we just like sleep with people, wherever and do whatever and don't have any value, like personal value, and awareness of our worth and the power that we have just by being a woman and being in a room and being beautiful, like people gain something, men specifically gain something from that, and women, we inspire each other. So that's kind of like, I feel like it's a mutual exchange if, you know, you have the right intentions and the other women have the right intentions, right? But like with men, I just feel like you get stolen from often, and a lot of women are in denial because you have those rose-colored glasses. I have been celibate and made the decision to wait for my husband about 2 years ago now, almost 2 years, maybe like a year and a half, since I got out of my last relationship. And I am like, the level of discernment, the level of energy, because that energy is not going to like a physical, like feral thing. Like the way God made us to mate and made us to create, like that is to be a creation. Like we're sowing seeds in each other. Like there's so much work and stuff that I've read into this, so I could talk about it forever, but I'm just going to make it really simple. Is like, we are meant to have a mutual exchange, not a transaction, but an exchange where it's like a building. So it's like you're gaining something from me and that's filling you, and then you're giving me something and that's filling me, and then we're doing back and forth, and we're basically getting to like our crown chakra, right? This sounds ridiculous, but it's, I can't get too into details because I have to end this in a minute, but like we're then able to create magic together because God says it, two is better than one. Like God has read scriptures on marriage because, and on just a man and a woman together. Like God tells you your worth as a woman in the Bible. So I encourage you to also read that. There's so many stories where it is highlighted, and maybe I'll leave some scriptures in the description, but really knowing your power as a woman and understanding that people want to harvest it because men are not as in touch with their masculine energy these days. It's not really their fault. A lot of us women don't know our power or have good boundaries or standards, and or know our worth through a lot of trauma. They also, it's just like society's kind of preying on them and preying on the family system and pitting us against one another. So we don't really have as harmonious of a dynamic as I think we were created to, but I think you can choose to create that in your own life depending on your values and depending on what you accept and what you sow your energy into. So protecting my energy and waiting for marriage and being celibate, I think, is one of the greatest decisions I've made energetically in terms of leveling up, because all of that energy that was going to being stressed about a man that wasn't giving me what I needed and wasn't giving me marriage or a ring on my finger, like not giving me that real safety and stability, that is now poured into me. And so the very, very, very last thing, because I'm going to end this in a minute because I have to get ready for work and I feel like I'm running late. But the very last thing is balance between nourishing your soul and your spirit. And I think I'm going to make a video about this, but I just want to end it by saying, like, allowing yourself to not be so perfectly structured, and every day is not about being perfect. It's about playing and enjoying your life and finding the things that make you radiate and glow because you're balanced and you know moderation and you know when to indulge, you know when to be free and indulge and spend that money, like, you know, have that drink with friends, or, you know, going and just splurging and getting something really nice for yourself, or going on a trip. I think I just said that. I'm trying to think of examples, but you know, or having that really delicious dessert or really delicious meal, like just knowing when to indulge, and then also having that balance of like, but on the other hand, I also nourish myself. I have rituals that I do. I have things that I need to consume to give me energy and nourish my body. I drink enough water every day, regardless. just really, I take care of myself and I go to the gym, like all those little habits, but also just having that balance. Like I'm nourishing my soul by allowing myself to enjoy and take heed to the pleasures of life, but I'm nourishing my spirit by really being conscientious of like, these are my energetic boundaries. This is what I need. These are my non-negotiables. Over here, I can play and I can trust my intuition and see when it's safe for me to play, and safe for me to enjoy. So yeah, that's all I got. But I don't know. I felt inspired just to share some of my little level ups. There's many more I could have, but these are like my energetic level ups that really have shifted me and allowed me to transform and change. And I tell you, like, I am such a different human being, and I'm always changing and evolving. We're all always changing and evolving, but it's just ensuring that you're evolving for the best, right? And so I hope this helped you. I hope that you gained something from it. And again, my name is Sophia, and it's always such a pleasure to have you guys on my channel. Love ya, and I'll talk to you the next time I have something to say. Ta-ta!